Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today, we see what's cooking in the cauldron. Though, you know, as cagey as he was, we do have at least some idea from what we discussed with Kalkazar. And, you know, given the key players, of course, I think we are going to go in with both Ulfar and Heinrichs. Heinrichs is pretty quiet back during our meeting with Kalkazar, but I do think he'll offer some very valuable insight. And I'll also say that while my initial thoughts were to completely retool him, I ultimately decided to just keep it pretty simple. You know, I was going to go all-out striker with him, try to make him a stand-in for Kibbles. But honestly, I think he's okay as basically an Abby stand-in, but with a bit more bite to him. And generally speaking, we breeze through most fights easy enough that I don't really see it being an issue anyway. And hey, at least this way we get to try out a few new toys. That said, let's see what we've got. Emperor's Palm. And there's our route to Frozen Prince. I imagine that's where we'll be doing Argenta's final companion quest. Okay, no immediate hails, but we do have hostile ships. Let's see what's up with these guys. The Rogue Trader's Void ship is facing several Eldari scout ships. The Xenos are in no hurry to attack, and time seems to have slowed down. One wrong move, and carnage will ensue. Yurliet? You maybe want to weigh in here? Yurliet's speech is met with a torrent of Eldari abuse that is too much for even the Rogue Trader's elucidator. The Xenos accuse her of betraying her kind by conspiring with the Monkey, and unceremoniously cut the connection. Yet their ships are no longer blocking the way. You know what? We'll take it. Fairly stereotypical elf-righteous shenaniganery. But no shots fired, no blood spilled. We'll call that a win. Weird to find them here, though, so close to an active conflict.
A celestial body holds zero interest as an object of study. We can continue onward, Lord Captain.
Thank you, Pask. Will do. But I suppose it could just be a coincidence. Or maybe just something relatively benign, like monitoring the conflict from afar. Okay, so I guess the one main POI really is just Euphrates 2. Which is fair.
Lord Captain, the united corps of the explorators and the militia forces is ready to attack the heretics who took over Euphrates 2. The commanders recognize the Lord Inquisitor's sanction and agree to cede the right of supreme command to you. They ask that you summon a council of war in order to establish the plan of attack. How should we respond?
By all means, call them in. Let's get this figured out.
Consider it done, your lordship. I will notify the commanders that you are ready to meet with them.
The leader of the Explorator warriors appears on the bridge, and the deck trembles beneath his metal gate. He has acquired a new set of fearsome armor since the two of you last met, and his mechadendrites are now fitted with more formidable weapons of destruction.
Unit Opticon 22 initiating identification/official greeting procedure. unlocking the option of strategic data exchange. Welcome, Valen von Valancius.
Right back at you, bud. It's been a while. Always nice to see a familiar faceplate. The Emperor's angel who follows in his wake is clad in armor the color of a tempestuous ocean. You hear his voice, throaty and brimming with untamed boldness and strength. Which one of you Huskarls is Valen von Valancius? I am Thorvald Ironhide, and I wish to see the mortal who has been granted the honor of leading my pack into battle. Right over here. Don't let my appearance fool you. It's a facade, so my enemies will underestimate me. Thorvald takes the measure of you and nods in satisfaction. I know the habits of a warrior when I see one. You're no indolent Hjock. Good. I give my approval. We will hunt the baseborn heretics together. You have not changed, Brother Thorvald. High-handed and brazen without measure, and you carry yourself on another's Drecker like it is your own. The wolf bursts into booming laughter and bares his long fangs. Such is the breed of leaders, Ulfar. We stand out. 'Tis you, Everlost, who cannot find his way when the sun is right over his head. Another explosion of Tholbard's boisterous laughter drowns out Ulfar's stifled yet furious string of curses. Oh, Everlost. Not quite verbal assault, but definitely battery. Opticon, good to see you again. This must be very different from what you're used to.
This command promotion/hierarchy status update was executed following the death/decommissioning/deconstruction of the ship Teeth of the Wrathgear. The fleet's war conclave was operating aboard that vessel. Unit Opticon 22 received premature rank promotion/modernization to Magos Dominus, based on his extensive catalog of recorded combat engagements.
Wow, okay. I mean, you think you know a guy, but good for you.
May your service benefit from the updated protocols that were bestowed upon you, and the new analytical data that was entrusted to your elucidation.
May the Omnissiah guide/operate this unit in his cause/mission/algorithm of service to him.
Indeed. So what say we get this war council started? What good is another war council with a cog priest who knows not the joys of battle, who cut off his parts and replaced them with augments, to please his all-knowing master? He will propose again a cowardly plan, unworthy of warriors, as is the custom of his brethren.
Registering a display of impertinence/data insufficiency in regard to the military craft/eradication methods of the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Hello. Who might you be? Are you having another fight, gentlemen? How predictable. A woman in heavy body armor walks onto the bridge, cloaked in an air of superiority. You remember seeing her before, in the retinue of Xavier Calcazar when he barged into your chambers after your Magna Exsellsior. Thank you for not starting without me. Acolyte Ashara, dispatched by the Lord Inquisitor to facilitate the operation on Euphrates II. My role on this war council is that of an advisor. Heinrichs and Ashara exchange glances, but do not say a word. You cannot help but notice the furrow that forms on the interrogator's forehead at the sight of his colleague. So, shall we begin our war council, or shall we wait for the heretics to corrupt this planet completely? I'm sorry, Acolyte Ashara, you said? Here at Calcazar's request. Strange, he must have forgotten to mention it. The Lord Inquisitor entrusted me with the task of forging an alliance between the assembled fleet and the forces of the Cognizance fleet. Once this task is complete, I am to act as an observer and a special operative. A special operation. Well, you know, as the recognized supreme commander of this entire effort, I should probably be kept in the loop on that. I'm afraid that the Lord Inquisitor did not give me the authority to elaborate on this matter. There is no surprise in my heart. The Inquisition is, as always, too ashamed of its dark deeds to reveal them to honorable fighters. Thorvald makes a show of spitting on the floor. Yeah, that's fine. We've got janitors. Miss Ashara, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Lord Kalkazar have an actual tech priest as part of his retinue? Why not send them instead? It feels like they would be more appropriate, given the circumstances. I happen to have some experience with large-scale bloodshed, rogue trader. That, and I never fail to deliver results. Right, of course. And, you mentioned you're just here on an advisory capacity? Nothing to support the actual operation? The militia forces have already been transferred to Opticon 22. All I have left under my command is a tactical unit explicitly instructed to carry out the Lord Inquisitor's special assignments. Now let us move on to discussing how we intend to kill the heretics. Yeah. By all means, please, bring me up to speed. What have we got?
Euphrates, too, is a forge world. Manufacturums and extractiums take up most of its surface. Upon corrupting them / disrupting their production algorithm, the heretics enhance their ranks with possessed mechanisms and false / defective / traitorous Skitarii, whose protocols were disfigured with indoctrinating scrap code. Our forces have secured minor footholds on the surface, but are unable to deliver an effective blow to the headquarters / operations center of the profaners in the Machine Cathedral at the heart of Manufacturum Sigma S13. According to the available data, it is the current location of the arch-heretic / termination target, the Dark Apostle, Uralon the Cruel.
We may outnumber the enemy, but ours is a poor warband. All it has is steel carls of the Omnissiah and scantily trained serfs from across the expanse. While our foe is the detestable, but nevertheless deadly, putrid-hearted traders from the ranks of the Word-bearers. And their vessels protect the Machine Cathedral from orbit.
So you're saying you haven't even made it past the blockade yet? You haven't begun the ground assault?
There is a conflict / critical error / categorical lack of understanding of the imperatives of this operation within our chain of command. Unit Thorvald Ironhide is in favor of the strategy of mass destruction, which would constitute an unacceptable violation of the right of operation. Every square meter of the manufacturums is sacred / of high productivity value.
Which is why the Cog Priest is so intent on hindering and sabotaging our assault by refusing us forces and landing Drekkers. But Thorvald Ironhide won't fight on the terms of priests. If my battle plan is rejected, the Omnissiah's servants can retake the planet themselves. Maybe they think their lives mean nothing compared to their precious cathedrals. But a wolf knows what his life is worth.
Opticon, given that various people here, like the Word-bearers, are clearly looking for something in particular, and you seem very concerned about damaging it, could you perhaps elaborate on what that might be? You know, so I can be sure we safely recover it? The tech priest's vox creaks stubbornly.
Request denied. The Omnissiah's mystery / procedures conducted on Euphrates II are to remain undisclosed according to the protocol / vow of preservation of the hallowed from the profane.
This is why we on Fenris have the priests follow the warriors, not the other way around. The priests never think about the battle ahead, only their tenets and taboos. But a wolf must think only of battle and his enemies' deaths, not about preserving cathedrals or counting the trophies that await them.
Alright, Opticon, if you're not willing to tell me what we're here for, would you at least tell me how you want to get it back?
Our strategic analysis points toward a full-scale offensive as the optimal course of action. The losses among the troops/insignificant personnel/laity will be numerous, but will not exceed acceptable parameters. Replenishing such losses will be less arduous than repairing the damage that may otherwise come to the manufactorums.
Okay, so throw everyone into a giant meat grinder. Gotcha.
I would rain down vengeful skies upon the enemy. I would plow the land of Euphrates too with shells, shatter their defenses, level the fortified towers, throw their host into disarray. And in that whirlwind of fury I would lead my glorious pack to pave a path of blood for the cog carls.
Right, so full-on orbital bombardment. Yeah, I can see why Opticon might be a bit reluctant to embrace that.
Choose your strategy wisely. It's not every day you get to heed the advice of a seasoned warrior, one chosen by the All-Father himself to bring death to the foes of humanity.
Sure. So hey, I know I just got here and all, but I'm getting the distinct impression you two don't see eye to eye on much.
You read hearts like they're inscribed with runes, Valin.
Thorvald lets out a mocking chuckle.
'Tis true, my brothers and I grow tired of this cog priest and his naysaying. For whatever reason, he thinks himself our lord.
I concur with this statement. Given that the military action/sacred purgative crusade/eradication procedure is taking place on a world devoted to the machine god, Unit Opticon 22 insists on his privileged status in the matter of strategy selection.
I mean, he's kind of got you there, Thorvald. This is, first and foremost, a planet sacred to the followers of the Omnissiah, who, I will stress, are also loyal servants of the Emperor, much as you are. And I am, usually. Jury's still out on the Acolyte over there. But let me put it this way. What if Fenris were overrun with heretics and Opticon 22 showed up to help and started ordering you around? The Space Wolf bellows with unpleasant laughter.
I would like to see him try.
Fine,
I hear you. No one will accuse Thorvald Ironhide of disrespecting the masters of the house where he arrived as a guest. You will hear no more arguing from me. Only silence. I will kill the heretics in the manner chosen by the esteemed cog priest.
Glad to hear it. In that case, I think we're ready to move on. Regarding the plan to retake Euphrates II.
The first step is obvious. We eliminate the machine cathedral's orbital support. But what planetary assault strategy will you choose following the destruction of the enemy Void Fleet?
Well, the two of you have both posited extreme opposites, so perhaps the best course of action would be the middle ground? Orbital strikes, but only on enemy positions. Then we'll sweep through on foot and clear the rest. That'll give us options if they hit us with any unpleasant surprises.
Your plan bores me. This is not the Space Wolves' way of war. But such cowardly strategies are the limit of the Omnissiah's cog carls, so you have my approval. My pack will do all that is asked of it and stand at the vanguard of the assault. Until we meet on the field of battle, Valin.
Thorvald looks at Ulfar with a smirk.
And I say the same to you, Ulfar Everlost. 'Tis a pity your pack will not share in this glorious victory with us. Ulfar lets out a bestial grumble and says to you, "That boastful Grishoff talks too much about my pack. He knows where my brothers are. I can smell it. Before we dive into the carnage, summon him to your ship and let me question him. I wish to hear what he knows, while he still has not lost his blathering tongue to the heretics."
Strategy confirmed as optimal. Updating the Skitarii tactical programs. Transmitting this unit's general blessing/authorization for offensive action.
The Lord Inquisitor will be delighted at the news that some semblance of order was established in the command. I wish you luck, Rogue Trader. Yeah, don't mention it, Ashara. And I certainly appreciate all that advice you were offering in your unannounced advisory role.
To what do I owe this visit?
Wanted to ask you about Ashara, but I guess you're not ready to talk about that just yet. I mean, she's clearly here for some sort of skullduggery. My current assumption is that it's to steal whatever plot MacGuffin Orelon is after. Ulfar?
Let us raise our cups at Fatar, in honor of deeds accomplished and in expectation of those yet to come.
Indeed. So, Ulfar, just before we do anything we might regret here, what do you want from Thorvald?
If anyone knows where my pack brothers are now, he does. But it is not right to speak of such things within others' hearing. That is why I thought it better to keep silent at the War Council.
Fair enough. I do appreciate your restraint. Alright. Well, I will put out the call. We'll invite him over and get you packed up.
I thank you, Ed Fatter.
Don't mention it. Thorvald has not come alone, but with a young brother in arms. With a mocking glance at Ulfar, he bellows, "Thorvald Ironhide is here! Why have you summoned me, rogue traitor?" "Speak to me." Ulfar's usual brash joviality has evaporated from his voice. "Know you, Thorvald, whither the path of battle has led my pack, the baleful howl?" "You haven't lost your pack, have you? Ever lost?" The young wolf's voice is strong and insolent, and richly melodic. He tilts his head in mocking concern, watching Ulfar's complexion change to match the violent shade of his hair. Right. Thorvald, I was just thinking that we hadn't really had much of a chance to get to know each other. Back at the War Council, what with, Opticon and Ashara and all. I thought we might aim to fix that. "Ha! Of course you did! Who would miss the chance to strike up a friendship with the illustrious leader of the equally illustrious Stormbiters? Go on, Hellbrand, recite the saga of my exploits, and make sure to include the landing in the Void Kraken's mouth. This is Halbrand the Brave, the most sonorous voice in my pack." Thorvald nods at the tall wolf, who seems to radiate the proud vigor of a warrior. "I think you meant to say Halbrand the Braggart, no? For his verses often weave together the truth with his own flights of fancy." Ulfar smiles vindictively, with a viciousness utterly unbecoming of an angel of the Emperor. Now it is Halbrand's turn to blush. Thorvald chuckles. "Thank you for the correction, Everlost. I reckon we can do without the saga." Okay, so just for the sake of the one non-space wolf in this conversation, this is just like brotherly teasing, right? You're not really perpetually one step away from tearing each other's throats out, right?
Thorvald chuckles. It is only friendly nipping. If there was hatred between us, the walls of this glorious hall would have long since been painted with blood. Such is a warrior's nature. A wolf's nature. When we meet with strength, we test our teeth on it. Ulfar huffs a laugh in response. But there is a personal side to it as well. The Stormbiters have always tried to best the Baleful Howl in the glory of their exploits. Tried and failed, for my pack was, and remains, superior.
Okay, glad to hear it, I guess. And this whole Everlost thing, that's just what, like a playful nickname?
You do not know. I'm not surprised. Brother Ulfar does not care for the moniker. He has had it since his early years in the chapter. When Ulfar underwent his trial of the Cup of Wolfen, he took so much longer than the others that the rune priest gave him up for lost. Later he received grievous wounds and raids that sent him into stasis sleep for a long time. Anytime we would pay a visit to the Baleful Howl, we had to ask, "Where is Brother Ulfar?" And he was always resting. And recently he went missing altogether, lost after an attack on Xenos.
Thorvald grins mockingly, his long fangs glinting.
And forget not to tell of the dire curse that of yore was laid upon the mighty Ulfar. No good death for him is fated, only to one day be lost, bereft of glory and honor.
Halbrand declaims the line so sonorously and powerfully that the bulkheads begin to vibrate.
Any who cross his path, let him regale, and gladly, that proud warrior Halbrand Blatherskite, singer of rumors and fine tattler of tall tales, for he has glimpsed no worthy deeds in his short life.
Alright, let's not turn this into a versus battle, guys. Look, Thorvald, do you know where the Baleful Howl have gotten off to?
Feasting with the Allfather in the Hall of Heroes, I reckon, with Mjad filling their horns to the brim, as valor and loyalty did fill their hearts. Lies! Did you see their bodies? Which of the brothers will avow the truth of these words?
Ironhide never lies! The young wolf's arm cuts through the air like an axe, and he angrily points at Ulfar.
And you, Everlost, watch your tongue unless you want my dagger to deliver a penance of eternal silence upon you.
No, we did not see their bodies, but we heard their ranting and raving,
which can only lead to the jaws of Mordkai.
Alright, let's just take it back a step here. What exactly did you say? Even if they're dead, we would still want to verify.
In the battle in which you, Everlost, Arnulf, and Skadi were captured by the Xenos, the Baleful Howl took prisoners of their own. Under torture, the captive Xenos gave up the star coordinates of where they were to go next. Some important meeting, it seems. The place was far away, deep in the uncharted regions where the servants of the Allfather have never ventured. And your brothers decided to go there. No navigator would dare lead them to those dark places. So your brothers seized a trading boat and voyaged there without a helmsman. So you abandoned them to their grueling march. Ulfar's voice drops to a menacing rasp. Lower your hackles. I urge them not to throw away their lives in vain. Nothing but death could await them among those malevolent stars. We all came here to serve the Allfather and repay our blood debt, not to die for naught. Or have you forgotten that, Everlost?
Ulfar? Thoughts on what we've heard?
I will not test our friendship, Edvetter. I know that if I call upon you to go with me in search of my pack, I will be taking you away from important battles and saving of your home. So I will go alone to seek my brothers. But I will not abandon you in your hour of need. I owe you. When we have defeated your enemies, I will leave you and follow the trail. That trail is bloody and has long since gone cold, Brother Ulfar. There is no need to add another body to its tally. As the leader of the Stormbiters, I call you to our pack. Be a brother to us now. Ulfar gives the peaceably smiling Thorvald a penetrating look, his face darkening and his voice dropping low to a bestial snarl. Have you lost your mind, Thorvald? Perhaps it is you who's lost his mind, if you are daring to speak so insolently to Ironhide. Halbrand's insinuating tone is dripping with such menace that even the drawing of a sword could not have made his threat any clearer. Look, if you didn't see their bodies, then what makes you so sure they're dead? I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying we need to verify. When the baleful hell was setting off, we exchanged gifts. Our pack runes. Every 10th watch, a priest cast the runes and saw what fate they revealed. 50 watches after the baleful howl left, the runes showed calamity. 60 watches after they left, death. Since then, the runes have been voiceless, and their patterns hold no meaning. And that's it? The spirits deceive you. Your priest went a little soft in the head and forgot how to read his runes. And for that, you give my pack up for dead? Cowards! The runes do not lie, Ulfar. You know this. I am sorry about your brothers, but their fate is clear. So you're asking Ulfar to give up on his old pack and join yours instead. You realize how that sounds. He is our brother. He should not be left to wander the galaxy in the company of ordinary mortals, or alone. Wolves are like sharp knives. We hone ourselves against each other. And without brothers, Ulfar will rust and grow dull. But with us, Ulfar, we will take you in. Go to hell, Thorvald. They'll take you in there. You know, Thorvald, you might have made a more convincing argument if you hadn't brought your friend the braggart here. No matter how serious you might be about your offer, it's somewhat undercut by the constant jabs from your pack jester. Giving you a disgruntled look, Thorvald sternly cuts you off. When it concerns wolf matters, Halbrand will speak if he wishes. Do not forget that we are the chosen warriors of the Allfather, rogue trader. Treat us like servants at your peril. Ulfar's eyes flash with fury. Stop there, Thorvald. This mortal rescued me from captivity and proved his valor. I will not stand here and allow him to be disrespected. So you hold this mortal above your brothers? Being without a pack has turned you feral and stupid, Everlost. Yeah, alright, well, you know, I might have actually sided with you on this, Thorvald, but since your man there can't seem to stop poking the bear, so to speak. Ulfar is right. And I mean, look, Hilbrand aside, I think we all know that Ulfar would never be satisfied unless he sees the bodies himself. If his pack's alive, then all the better, but there's no way he could ever give up on them without knowing for sure himself. Stay out of wolf business, rogue trader. I will not reveal the coordinates of the place to which your brothers traveled. Respect your alpha, Ulfar. That is an order. You are too quick to call yourself my leader, Thorvald. Go and bark commands at your pups. Who are you calling a pup, Everlost? Unlike your pathetic pack, we will soon go into battle and accomplish great deeds. But you, coward that you are, want to shirk your duty. Ulfar's and Halbrand's roars merge into a single word. Duel! Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure if I should try to intervene in a fight between two Space Marines, but Thorvald did back down when I pointed out that he shouldn't disrespect people in their own homes. Alright, that's enough. A harsh shout drowns out the two wolves who are ready to lunge at one another. Quiet, both of you. Have you forgotten where you are? Holmgang can only take place on solid ground, not on a boat. The void and the warp are treacherous, and unfit to host a duel of the worthy. And secondly, I am your superior, Ulfar, and so I am not asking, but ordering you to back up your chest beating with deeds. If the Baleful Howl Pack is alive, as you say, let it march with the Stormbiters in the assault on Euphrates, too. Let it display the valor all the stories tell of. Will you stand alone for all of your brothers? Or have you gone soft? The wolf leader's tone may be threatening, but you notice a sly glint in his eye. Ulfar, on the other hand, is growling furiously, with no matching twinkle in his gaze. We'll see about that. I will prove that the Stormbiters will never be a match for the Baleful Howl. And Vetter, I must be at your side when you depart for the assault. Promise that you will grant me this honor. I mean, yeah, that was kind of the plan, but Thorvald, are you sure you won't just give us the coordinates? I mean, we're going down to fight the heretics on Euphrates, too, either way. Unless you have an ulterior motive of some sort. Thorvald's face seems to sag under a sudden weight. When the Baleful Howl left, I became the highest-ranking wolf in the Expanse. I am the Alpha, and it is my duty to ensure that not one of the Allfather's chosen warriors loses his life for foolish or fruitless ends. Not even Ulfar. Well, you might change your tune once you see what he can actually do. Request granted, Ulfar. You're with me. If you prove that your words carry more weight than a battle axe, I will tell you where your brothers went. If you fail, you will submit. Thorvald's lips curve into a superior smirk. Yeah, I guess that tracks. A test of metal, as it were, though I do suspect that Thorvald will indeed uphold his side of the bargain should Ulfar prevail, which, of course, he will. Though it does also feel like they're kind of setting us up for an inevitable confrontation with Hildebrandt. Possibly to prevent Ulfar from proving Thorvald wrong.
Let us raise our cups at Fator. Fenris.
Okay, so nothing else from Ulfar. Trying to think if there's anyone else we need to check in with, but I don't think there is. I mean, Pask maybe?
The Omniscient knows all.
Nope.
Me.
Interesting. Okay, so, general thoughts? Acolyte A. Shara, obviously up to no good. Hildebrandt, possible secondary foil, but I imagine a minor one. Ulfar's pack is in another castle, likely wherever we wrap up Argenta's thing as well. But you know, I guess we'll know for sure soon. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll do up our final prep, and we will pick up here next time. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Erie V23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Giemza, OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
I thank you, Ed Fatter.